camera. We're from the Northern Flower Garden and we're here today to tell you a little bit about foliage. Being wedding florists, we work a lot with foliage. And we have our favourites and we have the ones we're not so sure about. So I thought we'd take you through a little bit of what we do with our foliage and why we choose certain variations over others. To start with, we've got Pittosporum. This variety is called Pittosporum Novato. There are different types. We love this one because it's got a really nice variegation to it. So it's got quite a nice green with a little creamy white edging, which gives it a nice interesting look. It's also got a kind of crinkle to the leaf again, which gives you more texture. They work really well because they come on fairly longish stems. They work really well in bouquets, but they equally work really nicely in oasis in arrangements, or indeed in floral netting if you want to go oasis free, fern free. This is how we would get our Pittosporum from the flower market. That's how we got it yesterday. We get it back to our studio, and what we would do, we would go through each piece of each stem and we would check it quite closely, because you'll find with foliage, because it's cultivated outdoors, you will get bugs and you will get little bites and you will get little brown bits and little crispy bits. Perfectly okay, it's just the way it is, it's nature's way, but you don't want that necessarily in your bridal bouquet. So we would take quite a bit of time going through and picking all the little bits that might look, what we would say, look offensive, pick it off. Although there is a school of thought in floristry that if it has got a little bite mark in, leave it in, because that's nature's way and that's the art of floral, you know, it's floral art in action sort of thing. But for bridal work, we would remove it. So we would go through all of this doing that, and we would then submerge it in water, let it have a good drink. So in our water, we would always put what we call flower food. You'll be aware of that. You get them in your little bunches of flowers from supermarkets. This is exactly what we would use, but we would use it in a big container. This serves two functions. It has nutrients in which will feed the plants, feed the foliage and give it a good drink. But it also has an antibacterial agent in it, which means that it will keep the water clean. And it's bacteria that will age your flowers and age your foliage. So bacteria is the enemy really in the floristry world. That's why we always have scrupulously clean buckets and flower food to try and keep that bacteria at bay. And then that gives you a fresher flower when it comes to your wedding arrangements and fresher foliage. When it comes to the actual day and arranging the bouquet or arrangement, we would take our stem and we will break it down. So as you can see here, out of this one stem, you've got 3. Out of this, we could then cut it down, and then we've got 2. Out of this, we could do the same, cut these down, and so on. We do this to find the right bit of foliage of the right size for the right place. And as designers, that's kind of where our skills come into it. And that's how we're looking at things. We're always looking at how it falls, how it sits, you know, how's it going to be placed so that that would just look lovely, tucked in like that, on an angle, so it's coming out. And you think, right, that's lovely, that's going to look like, how am I going to incorporate that into my design? And that's the skill of a good florist. And that's what you pay for when you go to your wedding florist for your floral designs. Yeah, and that's Pittosporum. So yeah, one of our fern favourites. It's really light and airy, lovely for summer because it's got that light, bright way. And yeah, that's why we use Pittosporum. So I'll sign off now and say goodbye, and join me please for the next in our line of foliage. Bye bye.